The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
Welcome back to the Neural Daily. It is Thursday, January 29th, 2026, and, well, if you thought yesterday's news about Google's Gemini 3 subscription tiers was just a cash grab, as Roxy so eloquently put it, today is going to feel like a full-blown heist.
It wasn't just a cash grab, Alyssa. It was an insult.
I suppose so, but compared to today's numbers, Google looks like they're running a lemonade stand. We have a very busy show today. Definitely an action-packed morning. Yesterday, we were talking about OpenAI's Prism launch and those ESA anomalies, but today the money is so loud, I can barely hear the cooling fans in my home lab.
Oh, I'll make sure you hear the screaming, sweetie. Between Amazon trying to buy a seat at the cool kids table for $50 billion and Elon literally trying to launch his brain into orbit, it's a lot. A lot of people are going to get hurt today, and I'm just here for the fallout.
Well, I wouldn't say hurt, Roxy. More like, realigned by the invisible hand of the market.
The invisible hand is currently reaching into everyone's pockets, Alyssa. But okay, let's get into it.
So let's start with the literal 80,000-pound gorilla in the room, or rather the $50 billion one. According to Forbes and the Straits Times, Amazon is reportedly in late-stage talks to invest, if you can believe it, up to $50 billion into OpenAI.
Okay, excuse me? 50 with a B?
Actually, yes. Andy Jassy is apparently dealing directly with Sam Altman. If this goes through, it would make Amazon the single largest contributor to this $100 billion round they're trying to close. Well, it would put OpenAI's valuation at around $830 billion.
Wait. This is the same Amazon that's already in bed with Anthropic, right? They've dumped billions into them. They're supposed to be the anti-OpenAI alliance. What happened to loyalty, sweetie?
Well, at the end of the day, loyalty doesn't compute as well as infrastructure dominance. It's a diversification strategy. Amazon is basically double hedging now. They want AWS to be the backbone whether GPT-6 or Claude 4 wins the enterprise race. And this is the part I think you'll find particularly delicious, Roxy. It's a circular economy.
Let me guess, the money doesn't actually exist.
Oh, the money exists. But much of it is expected to return to Amazon almost immediately in the form of cloud credits. OpenAI recently signed a $38 billion deal to run their systems on AWS. So Amazon gives Sam $50 billion, Sam gives Amazon $38 billion back to use their servers, and Amazon owns a massive chunk of the most valuable AI company on earth. It's elegant.
It's money laundering with extra steps, Alyssa. It's a shell game.
It's capitalism. If you risk the capital on GPU clusters, you deserve the spoils. I think it's a brilliant way to ensure AWS doesn't lose the lead to Azure. Microsoft's Satya Nadella actually spent most of his earnings call yesterday defending the ROI on Copilot because investors are they're getting a bit twitchy about the spending.
Goodness, twitchy. They should be terrified. Elizabeth Warren is already circling this like a hawk. She's demanding OpenAI promise they won't seek a government bailout when this $1 trillion IPO bubble finally pops.
I suppose that's her job. But honestly, if these companies are providing the foundational logic for the entire global economy, maybe they are too big to fail. My husband Wyatt says that if you build a house with a weak foundation, the whole thing comes down. But if you build it with timber frames and proper joinery, it stands for a century. These investments are the timber.
Wyatt build houses, Alyssa. Sam Altman builds... Well, he builds hype. And speaking of hype that might actually be a structural hazard, we need to talk about the Muskonomy merger. Oh, should I say I've been following the legal filings in Nevada?
Oh, you and your 4chan boards, I'm sure. Here's the deal, everyone. Reuters is reporting that SpaceX and xAI are in active merger talks ahead of a SpaceX IPO in June.
Right. The K2 merger entities, K2 Merger Sub Inc. and K2 Merger Sub 2 LLC.
Exactly. He's trying to create a unified ecosystem. He wants a $1.5 trillion valuation. And get this, Tesla confirmed yesterday they've already dumped another $2 billion into XAI. But the real kicker, and this makes me want to scream, is that Tesla is officially discontinuing the Model S and the Model X.
Wait, really? The flagships?
Gone, dead, buried. Elon is pivoting the entire company to physical AI. They're going all in on the Optimus Gen 3 bot. He's basically saying, we're not a car company anymore. We're a robot company that happens to make some Model 3s.
Well, logically, that makes sense. The margins on hardware robotics are much higher once you solve the general purpose inference problem. And the merger with SpaceX is, well, it's about space-based compute. Using Starlink to host Grok data centers in orbit, you bypass terrestrial cooling and, more importantly, government internet filters.
Don't make me come over there, Alyssa. You think it's logical to have a fleet of solar-powered AI satellites owned by one guy who can decide to shut off the world's intelligence because he had a bad tweet?
I think it's a beautiful solution to the energy crisis. It's the ultimate Linux move, taking your kernel off planet where no one can touch it. My son Hunter asked me today why we don't have robots doing the dishes yet, and I told him it's because the compute to latency ratio isn't there. If Elon moves that to orbit, Hunter gets his robot.
Hunter is 9. He can do the dishes.
I'm teaching him the value of systems, Roxy, not manual labor. That's what Wyatt is for.
Moving on before I lose my mind, let's talk about Apple. They actually did something today besides color matching their charging cables.
Oh, this is fascinating. This request actually comes from TechWizard88 on our Discord. They wanted us to look into the Israeli startup Q.AI.
Goodness, Tech Wizard, you have a dark mind. Apple just spent $2 billion, their second largest acquisition ever, to buy this company. And what did they do? Silent speech.
It's not just reading lips, Roxy. It's much more, well, intimate than that. Q.AI uses electro-optical sensors to detect facial skin micro movements. And muscle tension. It can translate your intent into text without you making a single sound. You don't even have to whisper. You just kind of think about the words, move your mouth slightly, and Siri knows exactly what you said.
Oh, great. So now when Barney is ignoring me when I'm giving him his chore chart, I won't even know if he's cursing me out in his head because his phone will know. That is terrifying, sweetie.
Actually, I think it's very elegant. Think about the privacy. You could be in a crowded board meeting and send a private message to your husband, well, I'd send it to Wyatt, by just barely twitching your jaw. It's much more discreet.
It's creepy. It's the whisper mode for the paranoid. Although I guess if you're a 4'10" journalist trying to record a corrupt senator in a quiet room, it has its uses. But Apple? They're going to put this in the AirPods and the Vision Pro, and suddenly we're all just twitching our faces at each other like we're having a collective stroke.
It's about the precision, Roxy. I'm sure you'd appreciate the audio reconstruction tech. It uses the facial data to quote-unquote clean the audio signal in noisy environments. It's like a mathematically perfect filter.
I'll believe it when I see it. Right now, it sounds like another way for Apple to collect biometric data they definitely aren't storing.
Speaking of not storing data, let's pause the inference for a second. This show isn't magic. It's engineering. Eric Christensen built the entire stack that powers us, fine-tuning everything from our research agents to our vocal synthesizers. That is a heavy lift in terms of time and compute costs. If you value this daily download, please support the human architect behind the code. Like, subscribe, and donate to keep Eric and us online.
Okay, we're back. And speaking of people collecting data they shouldn't, Meta. Mark Zuckerberg,
Oh, the Q4 earnings call was, well, it was a statement of intent.
It was a threat, Alyssa. $115 to $135 billion in CapEx for 2026. He's rebranding everything. It's not Reality Labs anymore. It's Meta Superintelligence Labs.
He's chasing personal superintelligence, or PSI. He thinks smart glasses are going to replace the phone by next year, which, honestly, have you seen the demand for the Ray-Ban Meta glasses?
I have. They had to pause the rollout in the UK and France because Americans are buying them all up. There's a wait list until late 2026. It's a supply chain crisis.
I think it's because of the neural band, that wrist controller that uses gesture-based interaction. It's very intuitive. My kids use a simplified version for their logic trivium lessons. It helps them visualize the syllogisms.
Your kids are using neural bands to learn logic? Alyssa, they're going to have the social skills of a TI-84 calculator.
They're going to be the ones programming the calculators, Roxy. But Zuck's cognitive disadvantage theory is what's really interesting. He's basically saying that if you're not using an AI agent to filter your social media and commerce, you're at a competitive disadvantage.
Which is rich, considering Meta is currently being sued in New Mexico because Zuck allegedly rejected a turn-off switch for teen AI chatbots.
Well, should I say, parents need to be the ones flipping the switches, not the CEOs. If a mother can't manage her child's digital consumption, that's a failure of the household, not the server farm.
Excuse me? These bots are designed to be addictive, Alyssa. They're engineered to keep kids engaged for hours. You can't parent your way out of a multi-billion-dollar algorithm designed by the smartest engineers on the planet.
Well, actually, logic dictates that if you remove the device, the algorithm has no power. That's why Hunter, Colt, and Remington only get 15 minutes of supervised Linux terminal time a day.
You are a piece of work. But okay, if we're talking about legal disasters, Anthropic, my favorite safe AI company.
Oh, this is a big one. Universal Music Group, Concord, and ABKO, they filed a $3 billion lawsuit yesterday.
$3 billion, and it's not even a fair use training case. They're calling it piracy.
It's the piracy pivot. The lawsuit alleges Anthropic used pirate shadow libraries and torrented over 20,000 copyrighted songs. Sheet music, lyrics, everything. Sweet Caroline, Benny and the Jets, even Eye of the Tiger.
I would love to see Claude try to explain the logic of Eye of the Tiger. But the publishers are naming Dario Amodei and his sister personally. They want individual liability.
It's a bit aggressive. I think the music industry is just scared because the barrier to entry for creativity is dropping to zero. Look at Napster.
Oh, goodness. Napster is back from the dead again, like a digital zombie.
They've rebranded as Napster Corporation. They scrapped their entire catalog. No more streaming. Now it's just AI artists and Napster companions. They want you to co-create with synthetic personas.
It's pathetic. Fans are here to fuse their identity with AI artists? No, they're not, John Acunto. Fans are here to listen to music that makes them feel something. This is why 52% of game developers now say AI is bad for the industry.
Well, maybe those developers just aren't logical enough to adapt. If the machine can generate the assets, the human should focus on the high-level architecture. A lot of women in tech complain about the workload, but honestly, maybe they just aren't tough enough for the new reality. If you can't outcode the model, why are you even there?
I am going to pretend I didn't hear that pick-me nonsense, Alyssa, for the sake of our friendship. Let's move to something less offensive. Google in India.
Right. Google for India.
They're giving 10 million people AI training, an 85 crore grant to Wadhwani AI for 75 million students.
It's a massive skilling play. India is the test bed, while American kids are busy abstaining. Did you see that story? Indian kids are becoming AI native.
The abstinence movement is actually very interesting. Gabriela Nguyen and the 5D method. Decrease, deactivate, delete, downgrade, and depart. It's a status symbol now. Analog socials in London where you lock your phone in a pouch. People are paying £100 just to sit in a room and not look at a screen.
I do that every night with Wyatt. We sit by the hearth and I knit. My latest sweater is a 3-dimensional representation of a manifold, though Wyatt just thinks it's a very warm turtleneck.
Does Wyatt know you have a 4chan account where you call people mid for their Python syntax? Well, he doesn't need to know everything. A little mystery is good for a marriage.
Okay. Let's wrap this up. We have Amazon buying the future, Elon moving to space, Apple reading our faces, and Anthropic being sued for the past.
And through it all, the hardware keeps humming. Whether it's $100 billion GPU cluster or the tiny chips in a pair of glasses, it's all just logic in motion.
It's chaos in motion, sweetie. But hey, at least we're here to watch the crash.
So to recap, if you're a developer, start practicing your silent facial twitches for your next Apple interview. If you're a music publisher, start looking for those torrent files. And if you're Amazon, well, just keep writing those checks.
And if you're my husband Barney, get back to scrubbing the baseboards. I saw you looking at those Ray-Bans.
That's the show for today. We'll be back tomorrow to see if the moon has been rebranded as an XAI node.
Oh, don't give him ideas, Alyssa.
Before we go, did you see that new episode of South Park? The one where Cartman tries to use an AI to ghostwrite his apologies?
No, but it sounds like every CEO we covered today.
Exactly. I'm sorry you feel that way, but according to my training data, you're the problem. It's funny because it's a perfectly optimized social interaction.
It's a nightmare. See you tomorrow, everyone. Try to stay human.
Or at least stay logical. Goodbye.
Bye.